Rain, go away. We do not want it, and yet we have it. Hello, everybody, and welcome to FIA Formula 3 and... no, Formula 2. Let's get that right. Omi's looking at me now saying, what on earth are you saying? That's because I'm getting my countdown in my ear, saying 3, 2, 1 to kick in for the world feed. Welcome to Spa-Francorchamps here in the Ardennes Forest, where the start procedure is delayed. The next update will come in 8 minutes' time. It is biblical rain here at Spa, to where it stopped and now it started coming down again. So we are delayed for the FIA Formula 2 race here in Belgium. I'm Joshua Birch. Alongside me in the commentary box is Omi. Josh T's down the pit lane as well, and well, Omi, this is attempt 1 to get this race started. The rain really is coming down, and we're just sort of waiting around, seeing what's going to happen.
Waiting around indeed, as we usually get at Spa. And yeah, if we can't run it right now, then we also do have a few other chances later on today as well to do it after F1 qualifying, if it hopefully dries up a little bit there. So yeah, from the looks of it, it seems like we aren't going to be getting going anytime soon. So, yeah, most likely I probably could see them moving it R2 after F1 qualifying.
Yeah, we've also got to remember the delay that comes into effect with the getting the Formula 1 qualifying underway. So, realistically, it's going to be happening for a while. Starting good there if we do get going. Victor Martin set no time in qualifying. He's down in 22nd position. Roman Stanek alongside in 21st. Paul Aron gets a penalty. He lines up 20th. Joshua Durtskin lines up 19th on the grid. It's 18th for Taylor Barnard as well. Rafael Villagomez puts it in at 17th position on the grid. 16th, that's for Jose Maria Marti. Reto Mayata starts in 15th position as well. 14th on the grid for Oliver Behrman. Juan Manuel Correa, he goes in as well. 13th on the grid, so watch out for him. Enzo Fittipaldi lines up in 12th. Kush Miney starts in 11th position. Watch out to see what he could do later. 10th for Emil Cordial and Gabriel Bortoletto. He lines up in 11th position. Jack Crawford's in 7th. Isaac Hadjar is 8th on the field as well. It's 6th for Andrea Kimiantelli. Zane Maloney lines up 5th. And 4th on the grid, that takes us to Franco Colapinto and Richard Verschoor. And it's 3rd for Richard Verschoor. 2nd, though, for Dennis Hauger. Zach O'Sullivan takes reverse grid pole position. Well, we're waiting, Omi, and there's a safety car on the grid, and drainage has nearly been improved at this circuit, but you can see it's just not clearing, it's not getting away anywhere on the circuit. So effectively we're just waiting around for something to happen, and we doubt it will.
Yes, we don't expect it to happen, but we will hope and see. But in these conditions, definitely not. Zach O'Sullivan will definitely be wanting it to get underway at some point later on, even as well, as of course he is going to be going from pole position. A rolling start would definitely help his case, but he's going to have some experienced drivers behind who've been here in the wet conditions in the past and have driven Formula 2 cars as well. But yeah, they're all in the pit lane fast. We've even got to get them to the grid. So even if it does improve, there is still a long procedure to go. So I don't really think this is going to happen. Or if it does happen, it's going to be a very, very short race as well.
Let's check in with Josh T. JT, this is getting a bit ridiculous now here at Spa, isn't it? Year in, year out, we're always here waiting on the drama. Looking at the weather, though, this is, I think, arguably worse than Spa 21 because it's heavy, consistent rain. Let's hear from Bortoletto first.
The truck that was cleaning the track has given up. Is there anything you want to chat about or live?
Ryan, what are you doing after here? Hey, what are you doing after Spa? Where are you going?
Home. Very busy. Busy period. We need to move. We need to get a fridge. We need to get a washing machine. All that stuff.
So it's proper rain. so much.
Yeah. I'm happy to be in here also.
Where are you now?
They're in the pit wall. Actually, the Ferrari pit wall is quite good. It's like a house.
There you go.
Gabriel Bolton,
That's
his
a whole
engineer.
call. Yeah, that's a whole. That's basically a whole phone call, wasn't it?
You're going to get a washing machine after this one as well. Okay, yeah, JT, it's worse than Spa 21. It's consistent rain that's happening down the circuit, isn't it?
Welcome to Belgium.
I thought you were going to say welcome to Watch Mojo then. I thought, are you moonlighting on yet another channel?
Nah.
Could I have a lift, please? That's what the race director's saying there. Standing out in the rain. Yeah, okay. It's biblical conditions here at the moment. Let's hand over to the world feed as well. Alex Jakes is alongside Alex Brundle.
It's going to be interrupted by rain.
You know, I'm not surprised. We've got another view of the safety car. This is the onboard looking ahead. We've looked behind, we've looked ahead. Director Phil's going to be taking us through all of the angles. Do you know why, Alex? Because there's nothing else to show you.
One at a time. Let's go searching. Let's go searching.
Then we'll go for a little bit of we'll go to producer Sean is feeling left out. And
it's only 10 minutes till we name every single member of the crew.
We're going to name everyone in the gallery. We're going to be talking about Alex's. He's going to be talking about Alex's motor racing career.
Not again.
And not after we had an attempt at that in practice. Friends and family watching on, hoping to see some action out there on the racetrack. But it is stair rods at Spa. As you say, Alex, this is the racetrack where we know the weather can play a part more than any others. And we are waiting for an update which is coming your way in about 90 seconds time. My word, it is miserable on the main straight. That umbrella setup nowhere near enough. You're going to need a poncho minimum for these conditions right now.
Yeah, you really are. It's log flume stuff, isn't it, out there? Oh, woeful setup there. Alpine merch. Is that a jacket or just a soft shell?
Come to Spa and Alex Brundle will critique you if you don't bring an umbrella. Oh, it's risky out there.
It's dangerous stuff out there. Dangerous stuff as well in the championship. Was that a better segue?
No, I like that.
Thank you very much.
That was strong.
Isaac Hadjar, 140 points. Paul Aaron, 122. Both looking relatively well on it this weekend.
So story of last weekend, Alex, was that Aaron had a great opportunity to retake the championship lead, having lost it at Silverstone, but he had contact with Maloney, and he was hitting his helmet with both hands, having made contact at turn number 2.
It's a really bizarre contact as well for Aaron, who was earning our title of Mr. Consistent throughout the year, run of podium finishes, you know, an incredible sequence of performances had put him in the position to lead the championship early on in the year. He was then overtaken by Isaac Hadjar, largely but not solely because of his feature race victory back in Silverstone and then coming straight to the podium in the Hungaroring. But for Paul Aaron, who has been super consistent, that was a really odd thing to do, to just plain misjudge the braking zone of turn 2 and indeed catch the back of Zane Maloney. It's going to cost him big time. He was a retirement in that race, and it set him a decent way back from Isaac Hadjar in terms of the points. The only saving grace being Hadjar didn't have the best race either, with the Campos team not getting him out onto the racing surface in time for the red light. A bizarre error from the team, it must be said, at this level, finishing only 18th in the feature race. So a bit of an out of jail free card for Paul Aaron, but even so, could have been an opportunity to snatch the championship lead back.
The update that we promised you
It's
is
an
there will
update.
be another update
Yeah.
in 10 minutes.
Yeah, I thought so.
We've played this game before. Race Control doing it by the rule book. They believe conditions are too wet because they are looking at the same pitch as you are, and they're looking at way too much water on the racetrack at this moment, and so we've delayed. We're going to take another view of how things are in 9 minutes time.
It tends to be a bit budget airline, this, doesn't it? They tell you you're delayed by 10 minutes, and then you tell you you're delayed by 20, then 30, and so on until you're sleeping on a metal seat in Gatwick, and that's kind of the way it often plays out. But the conditions there not safe and sensible to be going racing. Can be very, very tricky. We're looking into the eyes of Victor Martins, Alex James.
Very good, top segue. Let's find out, when we spoke to the driver you're looking at, Victor Martins, whether he prefers a wet spa or a dry spa.
I don't know. Middle spa. No, a bit of both is quite nice because, as I always said in the past, I like when it's like you need to deliver straight away. You don't know what you have. You have no experience. So probably like a wet FP and then a dry qualifying, a bit like we got last year, which was quite challenging. And then in the race, a few drops of rain in the race, drying, a bit of everything will be nice for Spa, and I think it's quite typical here.
All the conditions is the request of Victor Martins, due to start both races at the back after failing to set a lap time yesterday.
It is a circuit where it rains so much that not only do you have a profile of where you want to drive in the dry and where you want to drive in the wet as a driver around here, you also have a field.
Oh, I'm going to interrupt that. Omi, can you see the TV pictures right now? I can. That was at Le Combe. You can't even see the pitch straight. The fog is that is.
I believe so, Mr. Batch. I believe we're watching the same thing.
Yeah, good.
Yeah. We cannot see to the pit straight. We cannot see much around this circuit, and the drivers won't be able to. That is why we are not racing, and they will just all aquaplane off. So we are in a bit of a waiting phase, and hopefully we'll. And I'm guessing the next update we're going to get is it's postponed.
Yeah, I think that's,
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Nothing compared to the fog that I had on our Wednesday. 350 or 400 meter short oval, and I couldn't even see the opposite straight.
Now, I put this tweet out because somebody was saying on Twitter, like, this is pathetic, this series, they can race. Track has been given a checkered flag. According to our monitor, they have delayed the session. So I think that's going to be the update, that we're going to have a delayed sprint race and postponed. I put a tweet out saying, if anyone says, oh, they can race in this rain, you're not a driver, you're not the race director. These conditions have killed young drivers in the last 5 years here. Respect Spa and it's different rain here. At Ham44F said, are these pros or little kids driving fast cars? When men were in F1, they ran in rain and it showed who could drive and who were pretenders. So I was a bit angry at that, and I replied, take a look at the F2 stream right now. If you're so manly, you go out and race, and if you crash and die, at least you were not pretending. This is sport, not suicide. And I think that's what people have got to understand. Spa is a different level of water. If anyone's criticising, that they're not going out there, this is heavy, heavy rain. Like, this is monsoon condition weather, and it's Eau Rouge. You go there and you crash, there is a 60% chance you're going to die in these conditions. So that's why we're not racing. If this is any other racetrack, it'll still be delayed, we'll probably get going quicker. As I point out, Omi, you've got to respect. Anton Hubert in the last 5 years, Delano Van der Hoef as well, just last year in similar conditions. You've got to respect this track and Eau Rouge and Radion.
Yep, indeed. And they shouldn't rush it because remember, at the same time, everyone's right now going to be saying, oh, let's race. And then as soon as a driver dies, they're going to start criticizing the FIA. So it's honestly lately for people to even be complaining when the rain is so bad. It honestly looks like when you when on F124 you just put it on very wet.
Yeah.
Because you're able to race in those conditions. It seems like that's literally what it seems like right now. And even worse, that's how bad the conditions are now. Brave people standing out there as well.
No umbrella as well, and I don't know.
Well done.
It is raining heavily, but it's not as bad on the
Well
start
done.
straight as it's raining, but it wasn't as bad on the start straight as it was. I think I can even see a bit of sunshine at one part of the track, which could be interesting, but we're going to have to wait and see exactly what's happening here. Spa is Spa. It does look like it stopped raining now, doesn't it, Omi? Down there in the pit lane, just about stopping.
Yeah.
But it's a 7-kilometre track. It could be worse elsewhere, but we might get a short race in. That's a possibility. We've still got an hour before the track has to be cleared for F1. It's a 45-minute race, so we might have time. Okay, updates in 4.5 minutes' time. Let's head back to the world feed.
Indeed. It's just he wants his helmet off. He wants his helmet off with the wet conditions, so they had to disconnect the hands device there. Just yeah, can get very hot on the head when you are sitting there in the car for a long time.
Let's hear from the Mercedes Junior. This is all about his mindset after the Silverstone win, which was his first in Formula 2.
Silverstone was a big turning point for me as well, especially on the mental side, because I broke the ice finally with a win. So obviously it really helped on the mental side, and yeah, it just helped me to move forward and actually to switch my focus as well. Not trying to focus too much on the final outcome, but just trying to focus on myself and trying to maximize my performance. And then obviously you see how the outcome is, but the most important for me is to maximize my performance and that I do everything right.
Kimi Antonelli talking to us earlier in the weekend. Conversations being had down on the straight. You can see it's still coming down. We've replaced umbrellas with the baseball cap. There's the boss. Bruno Michel, CEO of Formula 3 and Formula 2, in conversation, and you can hear him in conversation with Tom Clarkson, the On the Grid podcast. You can go through Tom Clarkson's enormous libraries of interview, and you can hear from the man himself about his journey running the key championships and rungs on the ladder all the way up to Formula 1.
Hear that, folks? That's how you segue. Gorgeous stuff. Isaac Hadjar.
Yeah, our championship leader is mooching about the pit lane at the moment.
Yeah, he is. And he will be, I think, reasonably happy with this. I mean, of course, they all want to go racing at all times. But it's leaving him in the points lead, potentially, with either a reduced number of points available, and there is a sliding scale in Formula 2 as to how many points are given if the race is shortened. Of course, points not being given if the race does end up, unfortunately, being cancelled due to the conditions. They can do that. They can reschedule it as well.
They can.
Which we have seen to the end of the day's running.
You haven't got any plans this evening, have you, AB?
I was going to look back at the Formula 2 race, Alex. So if it happens live then it's two birds with one. It's two water birds with one stone. In fun territory at the moment, aren't we? We're both private drivers with the helmet off. I wasn't invited to any parties, unfortunately.
Hey, you're way too committed on a race weekend for that.
Exactly that. That's what I said when they didn't invite me.
Oliver Behrman is Formula 1 bound with the Haas team next year. Maybe his teammate, Kimi Antonelli, will be as well. They're still going through the procedure. We're still waiting for an update. The update is coming in 40 seconds' time. I don't want to hype it up too much because, in my experience, the update is we're going to wait for another update.
We're going to count down from 20?
No, I mean, we're not that desperate. I mean, give it another... I was going to say, give it another 10 minutes. It might be a different story in the commentary box. And the fans, well, some are taking the umbrellas down now, and others are keeping the umbrellas up, but it still looks very heavy there, doesn't it?
Yeah, it looks to be easing off a little bit on the front straight, he said optimistically. Looking over the front wing of one of the Prime machines.
Is that the Trident standing?
Oh, it's the Trident standing.
Update time. Stand by. We're expecting it any second now.
Here we go!
And race control will let us know what stage of the procedure that we're into.
Had a difficult year, as if to ride roughshod over the update with regards to the conditions. Been a difficult year.
We didn't turn up, so
for Roman Stanek.
Go ahead.
As we film momentarily into that update. He sits 21st in the championship.
What's the
I
update?
thought he might, jump forward a little bit further than that. It's been a hard year for the man at Trident. Next update will be at 2:25. That is 15 minutes.
That's 15 minutes away.
An extension in the time between the updates there. And we're running to the limitation here of there's a hard block in the schedule, which relates to Formula 1 qualifying. So this race won't be delayed ad infinitum. It'll be delayed up until the point where a reasonable race cannot be run before they have to cut it and then run Formula 1 qualifying. Formula 1, obviously, on these race weekends takes priority. The decision will then be made as to if they're able to run the race after F1 qualifying or if they will not be able to run the race in this instance. We obviously really do hope that we're able to get a Formula 2 sprint race underway. It's always a fascinating contest around Spa, one of the great weekends of the year, one of the great races of the year, and especially in slightly less wet conditions where drivers are challenged, but it's possible to take the cars around the racetrack. It's a fascinating contest and an incredible piece of car control to witness, but as it happens, unfortunately, the issue will be twofold here. It'll be firstly the standing water on the racetrack, which can cause drivers to lose control of the car. That gets between the plank of the low-slung single-seater machinery, lifts the tyre off the floor, removing control from the drivers, and you can be any one of these 22 great young race car drivers if the steering wheel does not connect you directly to the front tyres, which connect you directly to the racetrack. You won't have any control over the directionality of your Formula 2 car, whatever your talent level. And the second point will be the spray and the visibility. If you can't see what you need to miss, you can't miss it, and that's the other issue, which is why rain at this level prevents us from going racing.
Jack Crawford down there in the pit lane is the driver you're looking at the moment. He is alongside 21 racers who are waiting. You can see the amount of water on the car, and they are primed and prepped and hoping to get an opportunity around the circuit. But the next update is quarter-2 and local time, and we await that for the moment. So we're just looking around the 7-kilometre circuit. It is our longest of the season by far for Formula 2, and a great vantage point all the way around. We've seen in the past people climbing the trees there to get a perfect view. That tends to be Sunday spec though, because you tend to get in trouble if you do that on a Saturday.
They're too slippery today. You wouldn't be able to get up there. You get in trouble, and they don't let you back in for Grand Prix day. That's the issue. Very effective track blowers here. Some of the best.
In your experience?
In my experience of sitting in the rain at Spa for many years. Very effective, and very good people that operate them as well. They've blown away a lot of rain.
There you go.
Over the years.
Tractor Spec doing just that. Still got a lot of water on the racetrack as it stands.
As the son of a farming family on one side, I should be able to identify that tractor, but I unfortunately cannot.
And given I'm from Suffolk, I should be able to identify that tractor, but I couldn't on first glance.
Rubbish country boys, aren't we?
Honestly. And it's Norfolk Day today, I'm reliably informed.
It's Norfolk Day today?
Yeah.
Of course it's Norfolk Day
today. Talking to you, it's Norfolk Day every day.
So, how dare you even suggest that it might not be? Happy Norfolk Day.
To you. Did you just wish that to yourself?
Yes. Me and George Russell having a nice Norfolk Day.
Funnily enough, we're being asked to throw to an interview now, and this driver's team principal about how Isaac Hadjar is dealing with the pressure. This is Adrian Campos Jr.
It's always difficult, but we are all very confident. So we all have the pressure. We can feel it, but I have to say that the driver is working very hard, and you cannot feel like he is leading the championship. He is just enjoying the moment. He wants to do the best as possible, and I think we are in a good moment. We are always strong. We are always quick in every race weekend, so we always face the race weekends with a lot of confidence, and that is what we are doing.
Well, they've had a great year, Campos. They're slipped down to second in the point standings into this one. They're on 178 points, just behind Invicta on 184. But they are looking to do what they used to do in the era of Adrian Campos Sr. and take drivers to Formula One via the second tier of motor racing. And Isaac Hadjar's hoping it's going to be him, because there's so much unresolved when it comes to the Red Bull seats in Formula One 2025.
Yeah, I mean, a huge opportunity for Hadjar, actually. And he's a driver that's starting to come more and more into that lexicon of drivers who are being considered reasonable to move through into the next level, into Formula One. And much of that to do with what's going on with Sergio Perez in the Red Bull top team, which of course would cause a shuffle into the junior team and then a shuffle through into Formula 2. Hadjar, of course, Red Bull connected, and as such, might be looking to pick up one of those seats. He's certainly doing everything that he does need to be doing to achieve that, and it would be great to see. You know what? It would be really great to see. Beyond Ollie Behrman, who we know is F1 bound, but I'm considering him a graduate of last year, really.
Yeah.
Because of his performances last year and then his performance in a Formula 1 car this year.
I think that's fair.
It would be really great to see one of the leading drivers in this year's championship get scooped up as a result of their performance in this year's championship. And I think of those drivers, Isaac Hadjar is the most likely. You've obviously got Andrea Kimi Antonelli, who's starting to move into that group for me, if he does get the drop for the Mercedes seat, especially if he has a good end to the year. After this, we'll go to Monza, Baku, Qatar, and then Yas Marina. There's a lot of time there for Antonelli to demonstrate and really grasp that Mercedes seat if he's going to take it, in which case he would be well considered as a graduate of this year's series as well. But Isaac Hadjar come into the series, done a great job. I think, you know, it would be fabulous to see him in Formula 1 machinery next year, as much for the series as it is for him.
Safety car's going out on the circuit.
The safety car is doing an inspection of the circuit. If you were hoping for some Formula 2 action on track by now, you and me both. But the rain is hammering down, or at least has been. So we've had a delay to proceedings for a while now. And as a result, we're doing a track inspection rather than sending them out there. Safety, of course, absolutely paramount. And we are going to take our time and check conditions before we send drivers out onto a circuit. The rain continuing to fall on the Kemmel Straight, and you can see the spray coming off the back of the safety car alone. Remember, it's far more intense from a single-seater of the power that we're running in Formula 2.
Yeah, much higher off the ground, and traction control and ABS and everything else that road cars have, and a lovely downshift strategy. You can hear it through the mid corner of Eau Rouge and Radion there. Hey, look, it's really easy to be a Monday morning race director and say you should have run it, you shouldn't have run it, you should have changed something, but they're not allowed to make these decisions on Monday morning. They have to make them right now, and with the information that they've got right now, they have to edge on the side of safety, because you know, the slight disappointment or the disappointment of not running the race is nothing in comparison to the tragedy of having something go wrong that could have been avoided. And I think, you know, the sense prevails. You can still see the rain coming down on the camera, but it looks to be slightly now in the middle of the track as well. So going to be very interesting to see. Still on the wet line through that double left-hander of Pouon.
Well, we're getting an update in 5 minutes' time about what is possible. The drivers just playing it by the book now, getting the shoes wiped, the boots wiped before they get into the car, those thin soles to allow them to have the feel on the pedals.
Yeah. You never, when somebody's wiped your boots like that, you never want to stand on the side of the car and get them wet again. So you have to kind of do this kind of gymnastic entrance to the car to make sure you don't disrespect your mechanic as you jump back in. Double gauche is the slang name for the left and left of Pouon. Quiz for you, Mr. J.
Ooh.
Where is the double droite?
I don't know. Good question.
It's also in it's in France. So naturally, obviously, France, obviously one of many French-speaking territories. It is at Paul Ricard. It's a Formula 1 venue.
Yeah.
Le Bousset.
No way.
Le Bousset right-hander, known as the double droite.
We're getting deep into the trivia.
Well, I thought I'd quiz you back.
No.
Since you quizzed me about my terrible results at Spa in GP3 on in the week.
That was accidental after Kimi Antonelli proved earlier in the week that he could recall his qualifying times from his entire single-seater racing career. Admittedly, he's only 17, but still rather impressive stuff. And so, if you weren't with us for practice, I thought a fun feature would be to ask Alex whether he remembered where he finished here, and it turned out not to be your finest results behind the wheel of a single-seater.
It wasn't my best. Wasn't my best. Would I have been coming off a decent result in Hungary, and therefore being complacent? Who knows? It's in the past. It's in the past. It's in the past between us, Mr. Jakes. What's in the future, and further in the future, is the resumption of racing, unfortunately, because the next update will be at 2:45, which is in 3 minutes' time. 3 minutes and 15 seconds.
Can I tell you, we've run out of interviews to roll in, so you are stuck with us. And this
is it.
Rolling bandwagon of filling time rather than commentating on cars on the racetrack. You're looking at the many thousands of fans that line this circuit. There's some extraordinary views around this racetrack, and great to see everyone keeping themselves in high spirits. That is all we've got to show you on the racetrack for the time being. The safety car, glad we've got the graphic out again to cover off that that's the safety car, but the inspection with Bernd Mailander behind the wheel is continuing. He's done another lap, and then we'll report to race control. Race control, of course, have cameras everywhere, all over the circuit. They have the TV pictures that you are looking at and that we are looking at, and then they will make their decision about whether it's time to run laps behind the safety car, or, Alex, we're getting into the territory where they might be looking at rescheduling things if they don't believe there's enough of a window to complete the laps or the 45 minutes we're allowed.
And the slot for that tends to be the end of the day, the end of whatever day. We had it earlier on in the year with one of the Formula 3 sessions. It got basically popped on the end of the day's running. So that's the one that you should wait out for. That will obviously depend on the conditions as well. So they will be sitting down there waiting for that improvement in the support pit lane. Some debate over whether it is Norfolk Day. I can confirm that it is July the 27th, as confirmed, and this is irrefutable by the Eastern Daily Press. So it's it cannot not be Norfolk Day when the Eastern Daily Press say it is.
Always preferred the East Anglian. There we are, niche reference, but we have been filling for a while.
Yeah, sorry for our audience around the world on that one.
Yeah, this is a world feed. If you're watching in the UK, Naomi Schiff is speaking to Juan Manuel Correa ahead of this weekend. She filmed an interview with him, and you can hear all about one of the most extraordinary characters I've encountered covering motor racing. Juan Manuel Correa is part of the group that will go racing here when we get the approval to get going, but that's if you're a UK viewer. You can see that on Sky Sports F1. We go out to many territories around the world. It's wonderful to have your company, and if you've been with us from the start on this one, it is we're desperately hoping to provide you with something out on the circuit, but of course it's got to be as safe as possible. Juan Manuel Correa ready, having scored a really emotional podium in Spain, did so in the sprint race, had it taken away, did so in the feature race. Wonderful response, running the alternative strategy at a racetrack where he returned after that horrible accident in 2019. And when he returned to Formula 3 in the Grand Prix weekend, he couldn't even apply the brake pressure that he needed to carry on persisting to get back to Formula 2 and then to climb back onto the podium. It's just remarkable from not just a sporting perspective, but a human perspective.
And in a sport where confidence at high speed is so much required and actually affects your performance, you're not talking about just the bravery to do it, are you? You know, the bravery to purely drive a race car around after having that happen to you. It's the bravery to go out there and compete and be prepared to go, that little bit deeper in the braking zone than the driver next to you, and that little bit faster through the apex and push absolutely to the limit. I mimic your thoughts there, Alex. It's very, very brave stuff indeed. The condensation that you're seeing is often the cause of the changeable weather here in Spa, as our lovely media delegate Alexa.
I've never seen Alexa wave at the camera before, so there we are. We're seeing all sorts. Would you like an update on the update?
Go on then.
It's happening in 4 minutes' time.
Oh, yes. Oh, so there's another update.
There's another update in 4 minutes' time.
I'm glad. The only thing that we have to be clear on, we had to clarify there.
It's all going really well. And it does look like the rain has maybe decreased a little bit in intensity.
Yeah, not sure.
I'm maybe saying that out of hope. Hello to you, sir, leading into frame.
Come on down. Do some commentary.
We are getting close to. Would anyone else like another go? Thank you for bearing with us. Hold on a minute. And that looked like umbrellas down.
Didn't it?
And jackets being shaken off, and yet up the crane here. At a very similar part of the circuit, it continues to look like it's hammering down. The breadth of this site, unlike anything really, other than your favourite place in the world, the Nordschleife.
I really like the Nordschleife, but it is not capable for F1 racing anymore. Did used to have Formula One racing around the Nürburgring Nordschleife. This Nürburgring Nordschleife, one of the very early prepared racing circuits.
Yeah.
And actually is as difficult as it is because it was built in some way to stave off the criticism that a prepared racing circuit would be too easy. In comparison, and here is the draw, and here is where we're drawing it into context, the comparison with Spa-Francorchamps, which was a road circuit and was one of the most fearsome venues. Used to be one of the most fearsome venues. The old track used to head off further past the Kemmel Straight. You can still drive on it if you are so inclined. If you go back round the far end of the circuit, you can see areas that used to form the racetrack. A fearsome, longer road circuit here. And you're quite right, over a very long distance, quite a long circuit in the way that it's laid out, and differential in elevation, lined by trees. And that means you do get difference in condition throughout the racing circuit. Earlier on today, we had a much wetter early part of the circuit, a much wetter La Source and Eau Rouge in Formula 3 than the far part of the circuit in, for example, Pif-Paf, Pouant, Stavelot was. So that's the differential in conditions one might suffer until the roof is off the Hamilton Hyde that we saw earlier on in the broadcast. I don't think we've got an ease up in the rain that's going to lead to a resumption of racing.
I think the Hamilton Hyde is towards the final chicane. I think I think it's up there. We are waiting for word, and there we go. It's still up. It's still up, and that tells a story at the moment. Hello to you, sir. We're loving your setup. We're loving the fans keeping smiles on their faces. Tell you what, the gallery are not liking the control also, we've got right now.
Loving my new role as director.
Yeah, let's see what else we've got around the circuit. There we are. We had the forward facer. Okay, we've been given the control. Let's go on board for the safety car. Oh, I'm absolutely loving this. 10 years I've been at this job. I've never been given the controls.
It's great stuff.
Alex, where are we going next?
Can we ask for?
Oh God, they've got
the
controls.
The exit of Blanchimont.
Ooh.
The exit of Blanchimont.
I mean, they've given them controls. It's never going to end well.
Bit of a look at the
There
second.
we go. Okay.
Oh, look at this water.
Oh, and it's been announced. The F2 sprint race has been postponed.
Oh.
41 minutes we've been sat here in the commentary box, and that is the news. It has been postponed. Well, I suppose that would be the only sensible thing they could do. It's still too treacherous out there.
Yes, only sensible thing. I've somehow still stayed. I've still somehow stayed entertained throughout that bit. But yes, only before we go off, now start quizzing you, Josh.
Yeah.
Paul Aaron had a penalty coming into this race. We are unable to run it.
Ah, good point. Very good point.
Does it go to his feature race tomorrow, where he starts on pole? Is the question.
I suppose it must go there, must it?
Well, we'll find out, I guess, tomorrow then.
I am under information.
Or maybe later today if we want to sprint.
The F2 race looks like it's going to be postponed to later on today. So we will see. But right now, the...
Can't wait.
God, it's like F3 again. Have you recovered from the Porsche F3 Crashgate? Just about. Just about. But right now, we've been given the news that the F2 race is postponed till the end of the day. So, thank you, Emmy. Thank you, JT. Thanks to Alex and Alex as well on the world feed. Not what we wanted to bring you, but we'll have news throughout the day of when we're going on. Our build-up to qualifying now begins in 55 minutes' time. So it looks like we're going to have it after Formula 1 qualifying. Yes, Vassar, that's what we're having. It will be the F2 race following the F1 qualifying if we can run it at the end of the day. So we'll reschedule the stream and get the next one up. Thanks, guys. Thanks for your company. But right now, we cannot bring you any F2. Let's get the final thoughts from the world feed.
Well, that's the disappointing, but I fear inevitable news. Everyone was standing by. You could see everyone strapped into the car, full race spec, but they're going to make their way out of this pit lane to the support race pit lane, which is just down the hill. It is unfortunately not what we wanted to bring you here at Spa-Francorchamps, the 10th round of the season. But I want to thank the whole broadcast team for their efforts, not just across this race, but all season long to bring us the sights and the sounds. Any final thoughts, Alex Brundle?
Not really, to be honest. Let's get a race later on. Thanks to everybody who stayed with us. Really looking forward to bringing you the F2 sprint race when the conditions are appropriate.
Well, thank you very much to everybody as well. Sorry we couldn't bring you a race at the moment, but the rain is easing up, so maybe F1 qualifying will happen, and we can get it later on as well. We'll be back, hopefully, for the sprint race of F2 after the F1. Our qualifying starts at 2:45 British Summer Time. Join us again then. F2 sprint delayed. See you later. Bye-bye.